Good afternoon. It's Craig Bennett, aka Cash Keg, here with DFSArmy, and as you can see above, Super Draft. This is going to be an NBA Super Draft video. If you're not familiar with Super Draft, it's basically you can play whoever you want to. It's just all about the multipliers. So projections are key depending on who you want to jump on. It's not always playing the studs. You can play all the studs, but usually the studs have a 1x multiplier, and some of the other guys have up to a 2x multiplier, which you can crush. With that, if you don't have an account, again, go down this description below, click on that link, enter promo code ARMY, and let's get started, man. I will help you make some lineups tonight here, kind of talk about it, tell you some plays that I like at each position. And again, if you want to see different types of videos, just leave a comment below of videos you'd like to see. I had a few people request a Super Draft video, so I thought I would take some time, research Super Draft picks for tonight, and put something out for you guys. Again, I want to be able to put out content that you like, and if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload videos, and let's dive into this slate tonight. As you can see, I have the desktop version Super Draft pulled up right here. I'm in the NBA 50,000 jump shot here, $15 entry, 10K up top. It's not close to being even 10% full yet. We do have an 8 p.m. start time still, so we still have around 4.5 hours. But if this thing overlays, man, this is when you jump in and make some money. If you can't play, or if you're struggling maybe on FanDuel or struggling on DraftKings and want to try something different, everyone has their thing that they like. So we'll focus on here on Super Draft. I'll try to give you some picks that I think are great picks tonight. And then also I will show you a quick preview of our projections that we have as well at the end of this video. And if you're a DFSArmy VIP member, you get these projections on our site. They're uploaded. They automatically change as I do the projections for NBA for DFSArmy, and when I make changes to our DFS model for NBA, they automatically change. So they're updated real time all the way up until the last game locks. So with that, again, you pick 3 guards, 3 forwards, and 1 center over here at Super Draft. I always start at center just because you're just picking one. And I think for this slate, it's pretty clear cut who's going to be the center for me on this slate. And the big thing is it's the multiplier. Like I said, multipliers from 2x down to 1x. So, for instance, you can pick Anthony Davis here at 1x, but is he really going to outscore some of these other guys that have higher multipliers? So the multiplier is extremely key in this. And I'll talk about maybe 3 picks that I like here, but I think it's so obvious what's the pick. He's going to be so high owned, and he's a guy that I would just go extremely heavy on. So that person is going to be Enes Kanter. He is a 1.85 multiplier here. His projection is just light years ahead of everybody else when it comes to that multiplier. And he's going to be so popular at center, and if he's not, he should be. But there's really not another center that I'm looking at playing. We could look at playing, I guess, if you think Kanter struggles. I do like, at the center position, I do like the multiplier on Mason Plumlee at 1.9x. If he gets you 30 fantasy points, that's almost 60 points. So, if AD is a 1x multiplier and he gets you 50, Plumlee's still beating him out. So he's a guy to consider there as well. And again, but at center, it's really hard for me not to play Kanter. I mean, yes, we could look at DeAndre Ayton as well at a 1.35x multiplier. I don't mind that one. But 1.85x for Kanter going against a bad Chicago Bulls front court. No Carter Jr. here. He should just be able to roll. And it's really hard for me to get off him. If you're playing any lineups, I would definitely roll Kanter here. Again, at the forward position here, we can play up to 3 forwards. Some of the guys that I like to look at I like to look at the multipliers. I did mention Mason Plumlee here at 1.9x. He's been on a pretty good roll lately that he should be considered in your DFS lineups as well over here at Super Draft with what we have going on with this multiplier. The multiplier is just It's way too high here. It should probably be closer to like 1.6x, 1.5x. But he's put up 35, 28, and 20 fantasy points. And if you multiply that out, that gets you close to 60. And you can play him here as a forward as well. So again, all about that multiplier. You got to focus on that thing when you're building these lineups. So Plumlee, I like this play a lot. And this is the kind of thing as well. At forward, and when I talked about AD, you don't always have to go for the value. Like Giannis is a 1x multiplier, right? Now, generally, I'm not going to look for these guys that are the 1x because they have to really go off. Now, could Giannis put up a 60 burger and match Plumlee? Oh, sure. We know that. We know that Giannis could put up monster numbers anytime. But if he puts up, say, 50, 53, and Plumlee, is putting up 30 or 34 fantasy points, he's going to crush him. So I don't mind playing Giannis here. So if you want to play Giannis, definitely in play. But again, at that 1x multiplier, I want to look around a little bit. Another guy that I do like at this forward position is Jeremy Grant, 1.6x multiplier here. In this matchup going up against Golden State, they like to get up and down. So I don't mind playing Jeremy Grant here. He's plays heavy minutes for Detroit. He averages, I believe it's right at 36 minutes per game, 1.11 fantasy points per minute. So if we multiply that out, he's probably looking at 40 fantasy points times 1.6x. He's going to get close to, 65, 70 fantasy points if he puts up 40. So that's just way too cheap for him. I do like some Jeremy Grant there a lot. So I will throw him in there here with this lineup. Let me add Plumlee to this thing as well. As we're going through this, those are probably like two of my favorite value plays. I'm going to skip this other forward position. There's other ways that we can go. I don't want to go into it too much. We can drop some plays. You can ask me some plays that I like over in DFSArmy if you want to sign up there. But I wanted to give you the top two plays I was looking at the multiplier themselves. And I'll go in here and we'll go over to the guard position. And again, guards, we are looking for that multiplier. A couple guys that we can look at that I think stand out. I worry a little bit about minutes, but one guy that I think could crush is Morant at 1.35x. Now, they haven't played basketball for damn near 2 weeks, and I don't think he's going to see 35 minutes, but even in 30 or 32 minutes, he can put up a monster stat line here against the Spurs. The Spurs are on a back-to-back 3 and 4. Yes, they get Derek White back, but again, when it comes to defense, that does nothing for me. The Spurs played their first game of the season against Memphis, and Morant actually had 67 fantasy points that game. I don't expect 67 fantasy points. I expect more like 40, but that's the upside here against playing the Spurs. And another thing that's great about him is there's no Joe Val. So Valanciunas is not going to play. 1.35x is just too nice of a multiplier to pass up on. Someone that's should be popular in my opinion. Another guy that we can look at here, I like him more if there's some more injury news here. Tyler Hero, he is questionable here, but if he plays, we know Goran Dragic is out. And if Butler does sit as well, 1.6x for Tyler Hero with no Dragic, and if Butler does sit out as well, I love this pick because he can go for 40 fantasy points easily, and 1.6x again gets you a massive score as well. So I do like this pick for Hero. Again, I like it a little bit more if we get Butler out. I'll go through one more here that I'm looking at for that maybe doesn't really register when it comes to picking guys because, you're looking for them studs. And again, Luka Doncic is a 1.05 multiplier here. And Luka, if Porzingis sits, they played a back-to-back. They struggled. They got their butts beat twice against Utah. I do worry a little bit about Luka on back-to-backs. He hasn't been that great. He's played 2 of them this year. But at the same time, he's going to have all the usage in the world if Porzingis does sit. Going up against Phoenix, they're not going to have Booker. It should be a good DFS matchup. So I like looking at Luka here a little bit if spinning up. Same with Lillard. Lillard's a 1.15 fantasy point. He can put up a 60 burger as well. I think he's a guy that you can consider if we're talking about studs at a 1.15. Chicago's horrible defensive team, as we talked about Canner, and 1.15 is just a nice multiplier there. One guy I was on earlier today, but then with Derek White was not on the injury report. I did like DeJounte Murray a good bit here at 1.5x, and I still think he's in play. I still think he can put up 40 fantasy points, but that backcourt gets really, really crowded with DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan, Derek White, Patty Mills. I mean, and it's the Spurs. They could just, they're in a back-to-back 3 and 4. They could spread those minutes out however they want to with Pop. So I do think it's a good pick, but at the same time, I worry a little bit, but it's a great multiplier on him. And the last guy I'll talk about here that I do like, that he said I don't think a lot of people will be on, but he's got a great multiplier, is Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton, rookie, has been playing about 30 minutes the last 3 games, and he's been putting up some really good fantasy points here. I like him in DFS across all the sites, but over here, that's a hell of a multiplier on a guy that's been doing a lot of work here. If we looked over his minutes over his last 3 games, he's sitting 33, 30, 31 minutes, putting up 37, 20, and 40 fantasy points. If you get 30 to 40 fantasy points at 1.95x, I think you're absolutely going to crush here, and he will be in the optimal build. So here's just a few plays that I'm on. Again, great site. If you haven't signed up, then use the link below in the description and use promo code ARMY when you sign up. And if you want to see more videos like this, if you like this Super Draft video, if there's another site you want to see, if there's something else that you want me to talk about, just leave it in the comments. I will do my best to accommodate those requests, and we'll just keep knocking out videos and keep crushing these sites. So with that, I'm Cash Keg. I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.